Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Progress Over Perfection podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Johnson, and we are talking weight loss, all things fitness and nutrition, mindset, and building a sustainable lifestyle to not only lose the weight, but learn how to keep it off and to live life while you are losing weight. So today's episode, I'm excited to bring to you a little change of a format. If you've been following all along, I am joined by my sister, Jennifer. Hey, Jen.
Hey.
So if you have been following the podcast and watching anything more than one episode, first off, I just want to say a quick thank you to you. I appreciate the support. And the podcast is something that I have wanted to do for a while. And I have kind of been back and forth on the format, trying to settle in, and was doing the kind of question and answer format for a little bit. And really one of the things that I wanted to do was a little bit where I'm most comfortable, rather than just giving advice and giving advice and giving advice. I'm really comfortable kind of sharing what I'm doing and tying advice into that. So with that being said, we're changing up the format a little bit, and joined by my sister, who has her own incredible weight loss story with intermittent fasting. If you're not new to the channel, you may know, but she was actually my first female client that I coached one-on-one, just to kind of make sure that what I was doing with the guys would also work with the ladies. And she has absolutely crushed it. Lost 60 pounds over a year ago now, right? It's like since you've been down and maintained for a year.
Yeah.
So again, not only am I super proud of the success she has, but she's also my little sister. So the format's going to change a little bit. It's just going to be a conversation between my sister and I, and hopefully you can be a fly on the wall, and we'll talk weight loss and, kind of talk other things as well. But I'm really glad that you had time to talk with me on camera for an hour while you're eating. What are you eating?
So I'm eating homemade sourdough bread, not homemade by me, homemade by a coworker.
Oh, well, that looks good.
I do not do sourdough.
And now, is this the first?
Somebody gave me a starter and I never fed it. So it died.
It died. So is that like the first piece that you've had from her, or is she your regular sourdough dealer?
She is a regular sourdough dealer. So she bakes, but she doesn't want to eat a whole loaf of bread herself. So she just brings it to the break room. And we had a bake sale at work today to raise money for March of Dimes. And so I bought one of her loaves.
Oh, that's exciting. So where are you at right now? Speaking of eating, where are you at in your eating window right now?
So I did an 18-and-a-half-hour fast and then broke my fast with lunch. And so now I'm going to have some bread for a snack, have dinner, and then I'll start my timer for the day.
Oh, good stuff. What'd you break your fast with?
Whataburger.
Whataburger? Oh, wait, you have Whataburgers in South Carolina?
It just opened. Heath, how long's the Whataburger been open? Like 2 months.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
A jalapeno burger.
That's the best. It's the best. You get everything on it plus jalapenos?
Yes.
Oh, that's the way to go. Well, good stuff. Well, if you're listening to this and you're in range of a Whataburger, go have a Whataburger with cheese and jalapenos, and you'll be having what you eat. Speaking of which, well, I'll talk for a little bit. You eat your sourdough. I don't want to act like I don't want to be responsible from holding you up. But so I fasted today. I did 17 hours today, and I actually broke my fast about an hour and a half ago. Yeah, so I had lunch with Mom at Mangetsu. I had chicken bulgogi, which was kind of spicy and good, and I ordered no rice double kimchi, just because I don't know what the rest of the day holds. But unless I'm really craving like a carb or something like that, like rice, that's when I'll eat it. But I cut it out kind of just because if I'm not, I really want that. Carbs are one of those things. I'll drop that before I drop protein, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of feel I've done a little bit of the same. Like I could eat a meal without rice easy a lot of times. Same with mashed potatoes. They used to be like my go-to, and I do enjoy them sometimes, but I can also really enjoy a meal and not have them
without them. No, 100%. Yeah. I think, gosh, just knowing that you can have anything, but you don't have to have everything all the time. That's one of the reasons that's one of the things that I like is like, okay, I can maybe not have it now because I know I can have it later. It's the minute you say you can't have mashed potatoes and you want mashed potatoes with a meal, and it gets you messed up.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff. So I know one of the things new format. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to is kind of talking about kind of life and how life is going as it revolves and relates to weight loss, intermittent fasting, and all this stuff. But one thing that you and I shared in common was a month ago, not even a month ago. Like, how long was the half marathon?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Gosh, time
Well,
flies.
yeah,
Maybe
almost 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so 3 weeks ago, Jennifer and I ran in the half marathon, the Disney half marathon, which was super fun. We did the 10 miler
Super.
last year, and we signed up for this one as soon as it dropped in March, I think, which was a whole
Yeah,
rigmarole in and of itself. You want to do it next
true.
year? So
Yeah,
if you've never run a Disney marathon, I think the thing that we knew that they sold out, but I don't think we understood how quickly they were going to sell out. We bought the tickets and we were literally on the phone, each with our computers pulled up, and we got like assigned to a virtual queue. And Jen got in before me.
well, that's what I think. I knew it was going to sell out quickly. I did not think that I was going to go into a virtual queue for hours prior to being able to buy the spot.
Right.
That part, I had like, it was nowhere in my radar.
Right. And we had, like, I'd set an alarm on my phone. It was like 10 o'clock. I got to call Jen and we're going to get our tickets. And for whatever
Yeah.
reason, Carrie was with me that day. And I was like, well, I'm just going to call Jen now. So I called you ahead of time and I saw that I was like in a virtual queue. So I'm glad that that worked out. But, anyways, I'm glad I called you. We were able to get signed up. And what I was not expecting was not in my cards. I don't think, at least when we signed up. I was super excited to do it. I didn't start training right away, and that was probably a misstep of mine. I was like, I have time to do it. But from the time we signed up, not long after that, I started dealing with some, mental health, call it the mental health side of things, went into a little struggle, and was not exercising near as much as I have over the last 3 years. So I didn't do a lot of training for it. And I think one of the things that, we can talk about at some point is I think through what I was struggling and dealing with, which I've dealt with in the past, usually always coincides with some weight gain, but it usually like coincides with like 30 to 50 pounds. Okay. So it normally coincides with like a 30 to 50 pound weight gain, whereas this time it was like 18 pounds, which for me is an absolute win. I felt like my food was better than it's ever been. It's just my activity was super low. So yeah, we signed
Yeah.
up for a half marathon 6 months ago and I didn't train for it at all. And I was like so worried going into it.
And it was fine.
And it was fine, but I wasn't all the way sure. So the reality is I started feeling better about a month and a half before the half marathon. So it was like I started training again, but I started doing the training that I like most, which is weightlifting. I got back into that. And I knew at about a month and a half out, 6 weeks, I was like, okay, I could start training for this thing. But at that point, I was like, I was dreading it. So I was like, I think it's just going to be funnier if I go and do it untrained to see if I can. So that was kind of my plan in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. But it's also like, because we just have been crazy busy. And so we didn't necessarily train like a normal person would probably train for a half marathon, meaning like we never went and did any really long runs. It was just kind of our day to day routine. But like doing those little things day to day is what set us up to be able to do it. So while like we weren't hardcore ahead of time, but we had like those little habits that were sustainable that like made it to where I could just get out there and do a half marathon.
No, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that the takeaway too. I think what was our pace for the marathon or the half marathon?
It averaged like 14 for a walk jog pace.
Yeah. And I think at that pace with zero training on my side and not specified training on your side, like I think that's great. And one of the things I was thinking, and I thought it about the 12-mile mark as we were coming up that last hill going to the Epcot parking lot. I was a little proud that I was able to do it without training, but then I thought, man, the thing that I really missed was the training because I missed the training is the thing that I missed out on, right? Like if it was just a feat of whether or not I could complete a half marathon, okay, well now the answer to that is yes, but I missed out on, a few hours of getting out and move my body a week, which that was
Yeah.
the thing that I missed more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Which that's where like, because I've closed my exercise ring now every day for a little over 2 years. In October, it's been 25 months.
You're
So like I've
you're
been
crushing that.
moving my body, but just no like dedicated long runs.
How did you do? What were you thinking as we started the race? We're in the middle of the race, into the race. What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts going into it?
So, and I told you this, and I'll tell you this here. When we pulled into that parking lot in Epcot, I had the thought, what did I sign up for? Because I think this was like my 6th half marathon ever. But I haven't done one in 11 years. So that was pre-kid. Those were my 20s. Now I'm in my mid 30s. And I thought, oh my gosh, what did I sign up for? This was a mistake.
So how long before you were like, okay, it wasn't a mistake? Like as soon as you started, or did it take you a little bit?
No, honestly, probably like mile 5 or 6.
Oh,
Because even mile 3 or 4, I mean, I was fine, but I was like, this is only not even a third of the way. Like, am I going to make it? And then mile 10 got there, and I was like, okay, we got it. No problem. I'm so glad I did this. And then I crossed that finish line, and so proud.
No, you did awesome. I remember you saying that at the 10-mile mark, is you're like, it's only a 5K left. And it's like, to be able to say that with confidence after having run 10 miles, we've only got a 5K left.
Yeah. And that was then when we got to mile 11 and we only had 2 miles left. I was like, I do this multiple times a week. 2 miles. That's nothing.
So I know what my eating looked like going into the half marathon. And I would say for me, especially because I didn't train, I didn't change my nutrition up too much. I think we ate at the Polite Pig and stuff at Disney Springs. I ate what would have been a typical day. Did you change your nutrition at all, or your fasting times before the half?
No. So when we did the 10-miler last year, I ate prior to it because I was just nervous about doing 10 miles, not having any food or anything. And when I did half marathons previously, like I ran with the gel packs and all the different like things. And this time I just went into it like I did it fasted. So the half marathon was totally fasted. I just had those electrolytes and then water. And so like it was just in my fasted state, which was crazy.
I love that. And I think one of the things that I tell people all the time, again, intermittent fasting is not the only way, but if nothing else, it really does teach you that you're not going to die either without food. I think sometimes we get conditioned to be like, I have to eat, I have to eat. And I think sometimes that's false. Like it absolutely is.
And then you look at the calorie burn. And I think in that 13 miles, we burned like 1,400 calories, which is not a crazy amount of calories. Like it is for one workout. Nobody's going out and doing that multiple times a week. Like, let me just do a workout and burn 1,400 calories. But I could easily eat 1,400 calories in a meal.
Oh, right. Ben and Jerry's, like whatever size, I don't know what size it is, but like the one that has 3 servings in it, those are 1,200 calories. So it's like one thing of ice cream, and you're back to like neutral on the calorie side of things. Yeah. Which is why you can't out exercise. Like exercise is absolutely important. But it's not the biggest needle mover for weight loss specifically.
Yeah, right. So it's just kind of cool to see what you could do. I don't know. I think I've relied too heavily on food that I think I need more than I actually need.
Yeah. No, I watched a video and a guy was talking about, this was funny. So one of the things that I kind of am working on is I am working on the nutrition kind of a little more. If I look back, part of the reason that I did gain weight is at some point I started making videos like a food reviewer kind of thing. Like I wanted to get food that was going to taste good and that was going to look well, but wasn't necessarily supporting everything. All that to say, sometimes I think I place taste too highly on the criteria, and it's your mind that wants taste. I heard somebody say a video is like, when you want ice cream, who wants ice cream? Like, is it the mind or the stomach? And it's like, it's the mind, because you can never get enough of it, right? Like, I could keep eating it.
Yeah.
It's because it's a desire that kind of comes from up here, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff. So what's on your agenda rest of this week, fasting wise?
It's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. How much are you planning your fast, and how much? So I do very much like, what am I doing tomorrow, and then I'll adjust today. What does your fasting routine look like?
I just kind of take it day by day. So I broke my fast today at 18 and a half hours. I worked last night and I was awake for like 26 hours before I took a nap. But fasted through the night, took a nap, woke up and got lunch. So I'll eat dinner and then I'll just start fasting again. We're going into Thanksgiving. We'll eat dinner tomorrow night and we'll kind of eat a little earlier just because we do have a Thanksgiving breakfast that we like to have, and it's a pumpkin French toast with pumpkin brioche bread. It's delicious. Serve it with some maple syrup, and so we'll just eat dinner a little earlier on Wednesday. Thursday morning we've got a turkey trot 5K, and then when we get home we'll put that in the oven and enjoy our French toast casserole while we watch the parade and make some sides to take over to a friend's house for lunch.
Oh, that's good. I love that. And I love that, again, you are fitting in breakfast. We just got back from the cruise and I ate breakfast, I would say half of the time, because I wanted to, because we were on the cruise. It's nice style breakfast stuff that I'm not going to make for myself. But then also you've got a little bit of foresight planning it. What are you having on Wednesday? Do you already know what that meal is, or you just know it's going to be early?
Yeah. No, we know what the meal is. So we thought we were going to do Thanksgiving just like us here, because we live in South Carolina and all of our family lives in Florida, y'all, and Heath's family. So nobody's coming to us this year. So we were like, oh, we'll just make a little Thanksgiving. And then we got invited somewhere and we want to go do that. But Heath wants to smoke a turkey breast. So we're going to go ahead and smoke our own turkey breast on Wednesday. We're going to have stuffing with it. And then I saw this recipe on Instagram for a green bean casserole. But instead, like, it was a homemade cream of mushroom roux that goes on it. And then you caramelize onions instead of getting the crispy fried onions. I'm going to like caramelize my own onions. And then it's topped with Gruyere cheese and some like buttered croutons. So I'm going to make that on Wednesday to test it out and see if I can take it to the people's house on Thursday, because I can't show up at somebody's house with a dish I've never made before.
Oh, that's absolutely true. So Carrie is making a dish. She's making a dish to bring out. We're doing Thanksgiving with her extended family on Saturday. And she's like, what should I make? What should I make? And she is making, so it's something she hasn't made before, but she's got direct access to the recipe through her brother, Bert. And it's these collard greens with smoked sausage. And we had him last week. He smoked a meatloaf. So those collards were with smoked meatloaf, and it was incredible.
Heath smoked our meatloaf, and now I don't know if I can go back to just oven baked meatloaf.
Yeah, it was so good. And I think the thing that he did was, he said he grated the onions. That's what he did. He grated the onions and mixed it in, so it was like consistent, and you didn't have those like, the pockets in the meatloaf. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that worked out really well. That plus the smoke flavor, it was just an incredible meatloaf. I think, Wednesday's tomorrow? Gosh, time flies. Wednesday's tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to do, but I kind of want to steal my plan from you, so I'm fasting today. I'm fasting tomorrow. Thursday, I'm not going to fast, or I'm not going to fast as long, because Mom and them are coming over here. And then we're going to go over to Carrie's immediate family. So our immediate family, her immediate family. And we'll do 2 Thanksgivings at like 11 and 4. So if I fast, it won't be that long.
Yeah. Then we'll eat Thanksgiving lunch and we won't eat dinner. We are going to go see the new Moana. So I won't have started my fasting window yet, because I'll have some movie theater popcorn. But not a full dinner. So calorie wise, I'm still just eating 2 meals and then I'll have a little bit of popcorn.
Yeah, I think we've got the thing on Saturday. I don't necessarily know what Friday looks like, but Friday will be my really like wiggle room. And what that probably looks like is I eat through regular time and then just do a little bit longer, depending on how Thanksgiving turns out. I'll just kind of play Friday by
Yeah.
ear, knowing that I'm going to be eating Thanksgiving again on Saturday. This is your second or third Thanksgiving on your weight loss journey.
This will be my third. So the first one, I was fresh into it, like a month into the new lifestyle.
So what
And
did
then
you
started the
listen?
holidays.
What did you think? So I tell everybody the holidays is the best time to start because, gosh, especially when you talk about fad diets and stuff. And yes, I know intermittent fasting gets lumped into that, and it can be. If you're using
Yeah.
intermittent fasting just to lose weight, and then you're like, as soon as I lose weight, I'm done with this. It is a fad diet.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it like a lifestyle, I tell people like the holidays can be the best time to start and figure it out because guess what's going to happen every year? The holidays. So it's like
Yeah.
that. How?
And there's literally always something. Like last weekend we were at Disney. We were at Disney. It's somebody's birthday. It's literally always something.
So how did Disney look
But
for you? I'll tell you how the cruise looked for me.
So
Food
I've been
wise.
using the Fastic app for a little over 2 years to track my time. And I just didn't use it over the weekend because we were going to do late parties. So we were at the Magic Kingdom for the Christmas party, and that ran from 4 to midnight. And we knew we had some like special treats there that are only at the party. And so there's no way I could like be done eating by 6
Yep.
because I didn't want to run around the park and shove all the food in my mouth. Like that's not an enjoyable experience. So we just kind of didn't really fast through the weekend. No, and then we had a character dinner at 8 p.m., which is later than we normally eat. We try and eat by like 5 or 6. So we didn't fast. And then we got back home and started with a 16-hour fast that first day and then 18 and a half hour and just kind of right back into it.
What were your food choices like? And I say that because I think you hit on a point like there's always something. So because there is always something, how do you measure and decide when you're gonna call it indulge or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah. So Heath and I shared a lot of the stuff. So like I didn't have to eat everything at the park all by myself, kind of like we did at the Wine and Dine. So after the half marathon, we enjoyed lots of different foods just by tasting it. Like I didn't need to get full off of each meal that I ate. I just wanted to try it. And then that was good. And I tried a couple things and I was like, this really it's not worth it. It doesn't serve me as far as like protein or anything. And I didn't love the way it tasted, so I was just done with it.
I love that. So I think that is one of the biggest things that is different in my life now as well is like being okay not finishing food. And like you said, if it's not good, especially when you're fasting, you're just eating less often. So it's like I don't want to spend one of my fewer meals on a subpar food. What do you like the most over the weekend?
So at Cosmic Rays at the party, they had this pot roast sandwich, and it was just pot roast on Texas toast with some cheese toasted, and it was very delicious.
Hmm.
Very
So
delicious.
here, how much are you thinking about food now? And I know sometimes, especially when I make these videos, it makes it seem like all I'm thinking about is food, but that's just because I'm sharing what I eat. That's the nature of it. But I actually find that I think about food less. Like we just got back from the cruise and I ate good, but the point of the cruise for me was not how much good stuff can I eat. I was there to swim, to see stuff, to relax. Like food wasn't the only reason I was doing things.
Yeah. Well, I think it's freed, honestly, like, because when we do a park day and stuff now, like when we have a weekend at Disney and we're doing a park day, I'm not. So we can get in the park and get a lot of rides and stuff in because I'm not like worried about breakfast and stuff that before would have been the major thought. Okay, I'm awake. Now what am I doing for breakfast? I was able to just wake up and like go
Do
enjoy some
stuff, do
rides. And
stuff,
then
right?
we eventually broke our fast.
Right. Now, trust me, I think about food, but I'm not thinking about food all the time.
Yeah.
Especially on those fasting days, I'm not thinking, I wish I could be eating, like when I'm on a diet that tells me all sorts of things I can't eat. I don't have the thought of, I can't have this, I can't have this. The thought is like, if I want this, I just got to find a way to fit it in during the window.
Yeah.
And balancing, because you do have to balance calories and like not overeating. How do you feel like you do with that?
So I'm not one to track things, which, that's just not, I don't enjoy it. I'm not going to sustain that. So I don't really know where I'm at calorie wise. I do try and track some protein. So like we did a couple buffets at Disney. We did 𝐂𝐈𝐒 for dinner one day, and then we did Chef Mickey's one night. And like I enjoyed mashed potatoes, but I just got like a little scoop of mashed potatoes once where I went back for the meats, and just tried to prioritize some protein there. So just kind of making those swaps without counting calories, just knowing like a lean protein versus a carb, and if that makes sense.
No, it does. What about Thanksgiving? So I have a plan on Thanksgiving, and my plan, and I tell this to coaching clients too, is think about those foods that you think about all year long, right? I know at our extended family Thanksgiving on Saturday, it's going to be my wife Carrie, her mom, her dad's mom. She's not with us anymore, but she made every year giblet gravy, however that's pronounced. Giblet?
I don't know.
Giblet
I think
gravy.
it's giblet.
Giblet
but
gravy.
I could totally be wrong.
Giblet gravy. So usually somebody makes that kind of in her honor. I don't know that they are, and I'm not holding anybody to it. But if it's there, I've been looking forward to it, so I'm going to eat that. So the things that you look forward to, like make room for them. And then the things that you have never had that don't look interesting or don't call out to you, you don't have to try everything anyways. I think that's one of those things like get a little bit of everything. At least that's my plan is I'm going to build in space for the things that I want the most of and just be okay with not trying everything. What about you?
Yeah.
What's your plan for Thanksgiving food selection wise?
So I'm a weirdo. I don't really like all the casseroles and stuff. I would much rather just eat some roasted veggies.
That is very weird.
For me, that it is weird, but I'm just not a casserole person. I just want roasted veggies.
Well, I like the casserole. The bread casseroles are better when they're covered in giblet gravy. Like,
so it's really just the gravy.
When everything is a vehicle delivery system for the gravy. But,
yeah, okay, and I'm not a gravy person. He's a gravy person, so he's there with you. He's tracking with your thought there. So I'm just gonna have turkey, and then I'll look and see what looks good. I'm not a huge macaroni and cheese person. Thanksgiving is not my holiday.
What's your holiday?
I don't know, but it's not Thanksgiving.
When it comes to food, we'll have to talk about that more. Well, the other thing that I said that you said that you're going to do that, again, I hope we talk next week. I like the turkey trot. So now the pressure's going to be on whenever we finish recording this. Hopefully I text you back in the next hour and be like, I found us a turkey trot. But I love that you're doing that.
Yeah. So, I mean, Heath and I have been doing turkey trots as much as we can. I'm a nurse, so depending on what I'm working and whatnot. But we've been doing turkey trots on Thanksgiving Day. Heath, how long? Like a decade? How long have we been doing turkey trots on Thanksgiving? Yeah. So it's been like a decade. As long as I'm not working, we start our Thanksgiving Day. And even during COVID and stuff, when, these races were not happening, we started just in the neighborhood with a 5K.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I need to do that. Our oldest is in the jog squad at school, which is pretty cool. So we've been jogging more.
Our oldest wants to do a Disney 5K, so we told her she's got to do the turkey trot with no complaining for me to pay for her to do a Disney 5K.
Oh, yeah. Andy, get all those characters. That's what that's what the Disney run was best for, was all the characters. What did Heath call them? He had a name for them.
Heath, what were the characters on the race?
Did he call them the deep cut characters?
That you don't see very often.
The deep cut?
What'd you call them?
The deep cut characters.
Yeah.
Like some of the side characters in Robin Hood.
Yeah, that you'll never see ever again.
You're
only going to see them at a race.
Yeah. At least they keep those costumes.
Yeah.
So, well, good
No
stuff.
costumes. Those are real people, Ryan.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. There's only one of each of those. The fact
That's
that we
right.
saw Mickey at the beginning and end is like completely,
He's super fast.
I don't know. I don't think there's many
Mickey's been putting in the miles.
I don't think there's many 7-year-olds that listen to this podcast. And if there are 7-year-olds that listen to this podcast, stop. You don't need to be worried about this stuff at all. At all.
At all.
All right. Unless you're my kids and you just want to hear the sound of my voice, which even then, I don't think that's the case because I never stop talking. All right. Well, I thought this was really fun, Jen. You want to do it again?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
We'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to today's Progress Over Perfection podcast episode. Again, and a new format for us, but I think join us every week as Jen and I kind of talk about kind of what's going on with us. And then obviously tying back health and fitness to that. I think one of the most important things, and I think Jen would probably agree, the thing that I struggled with for so long, and one of the things that when I try to help people, I help them realize is that you don't have to do it all. You can't do nothing, but you don't have to do it all. And you've got to find a way to fit it into your life, because the minute you're just doing it to lose weight and there's no other reason for it and you hate it and it's a grind, it's only a matter of time before that grind gets to you. Not that there's not a different style for every person, but it really is the long haul. And I think this format of the podcast is going to do kind of what my shorts do, in that sharing the story of my life as it relates to food. And I think we get two perspectives from you and I, just kind of talk about what's going on with life and then circling back some of that realism into it without going extreme. So I had fun talking with you. And if nothing else, I told you,
likewise,
it means we don't always talk. Sometimes we just text, and if nothing else, we'll just get a talk guaranteed for an hour every week.
There you go. Done.
All right.
I enjoyed it.
All right. Well, thanks again for everyone for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, and we will catch you next week.